No, this deck looks awesome. It is kind of that mono blue Delver style deck that we've been seeing, but you know what? Julian was just like, I should probably play the busted card, Fabled Mirror Breaker.
Oh, yeah.
So jam that in there as well as some other red cards. The deck looks awesome.
I mean, it does. There's so many spicy one-offs in here. We've got the Elder Dragon War. We got like a Breed in here. We've got Strangle. You know, it does kind of feel a little bit like a draft deck in its construction.
Yeah.
But I mean, hey, it's going toe-to-toe with the Esper midrange deck, so.
And I love that you say a bunch of one-ofs because Julian Wellman and Simon Nielsen are teammates here, and their dynamic as far as teammates was Julian kept adding one-ofs into their testing team decks, and then Simon kept taking them out. So they had that dynamic, you know, struggle their entire testing time.
I love it.
With just based on their play style, essentially.
I love it. I love these team stories that we're gonna hear throughout the weekend. Just, you know, who came up with the best deck? Well, that'll be determined on Sunday. But for now, we're gonna see Denik, Pious Apprentice down on the battlefield here. And there are a couple answers in Julian Wellman's deck for that pesky critter, but for now, he's just going to have to deal with it until he can get that Haughty Djinn down on the battlefield.
Yep, absolutely. And both these players did 3-0 their draft, their teammates, and their team, their super team of 8, crushed Lemon.
Oh,
crushed it.
Absolutely. That's got to feel good, right? We've seen a couple of the teams over the past however many months as we've seen Gate here take care of this wedding announcement, bragging and boasting about how many players they got through, and I absolutely love that. It's like, go off, Kings. You tell us how well you did, because it's unbelievable what these teams have pulled off.
Totally agree. Yeah, they have a team of 8, and there were 8 people that were 2-0, obviously, after the draft. 7 of them were on their team. That, and then Toro Saito. Those were the 8 2-0s. That's just incredible to me.
Goodness me. Oh man, Danik is going to get swingy here as Rafine Scheming Seer hits the battlefield. Oh no, we're not going to see a swing. Oh, interesting. No free treasure for you, Mr. Gobbo.
Yep. And I mean, that's the power of Fabled Mirror Breaker. That's chapter 1 of this powerful saga, and already Tristan has to hold back a creature just in case Rafine were to die, and then that shaman gets that free mana, which ends up being really difficult.
Yeah, don't want that at all. Fabled Mirror Breaker going to discard and draw a couple cards. Finds Lear, Disciple of Drown, as well as another copy of Shore Up.
Oh, and 2 copies of Shore Up here could be really dangerous. And it was kind of, you know, Tristan was in a rough spot no matter what he did there, because if you double block trying to get rid of that shaman, you can double Shore Up, it's not going to die, and you get to kill Rafine. That's big game.
Yeah, no, that would just be the worst case situation for Tristan Wylde-LaRue. Finds a Plaza of Heroes, has an Ottawara Soaring City, as well as a Tenacious Underdog. Rafine Scheming Seer is going to get an attack in here. Finds a Cave of Koilos, discarding Tenacious Underdog. So it's just going to bounce off the Cemetery, Illusionist, Illuminator, excuse me. Just another one of these cards which we won't see very often in a lot of other people's decks, right? It's just a way to be like, hey, I'm going to exile a thing from your graveyard. It's graveyard interaction.
Yes.
But then you also get to play things with the top of your library if that type matches. So, you know, just another form of card advantage in these, I would say, when you control type mirrors.
Yeah, and I would say the card that probably wants to be taken the most from Julian is probably not a creature. You know, there's not a ton of creatures in Julian's deck, but being able to, you know, play an instant, play a sorcery off the top of your deck, and if you hit an instant, being able to play one on your turn and one on your opponent's turn is incredible. So, really cool synergies here from this Izzet tempo deck from Julian.
Oh, Tenacious Underdog. We're going to see blitzed in here. It's going to get swinging in. It will not swing in. It just dies.
Yeah, just a post-combat blitz, just to draw that extra card. You know, if you got nothing else to do, why not?
Fable the Mirror Breaker goes to chapter 3, and we're going to see a reflection of Kikijiki. Cheeky Kikijiki. Should we make some copies of Cemetery Illuminator?
You know, that is
a
quite, it's a combination, because you can at least, you know, if you exile an instant now with Reflection of Kikijiki, you can at least cast it during your turn. So while it's not the absolute best thing to be doing, it is not nothing.
We see the Illuminator snagging another permanent type, Fable of the Mirror Breaker. hits the battlefield. So it's just, we just got a goblin problem here. We need to call an exterminator.
Absolutely. And yeah, this is looking really good for Julian Wellman. You know, and especially if you're Julian Wellman, where you're not playing one of the decks that's 68% of the metagame, you got to be thinking in the back of your head, be like, did I screw up or did they screw up? Or do I have a deck that beats that? And if you beat that deck round one, you got to be feeling great about your tournament.
Definitely. Wandering Emperor, Tristan's got to be feeling pretty great about this, but there's one cheeky little treasure there and a shore up in hand for Julian. So if Tristan thinks, okay, coast is clear, let me try and get rid of this Illuminator.
Yeah.
He's going to have a disappointing realization.
And with these two shamans connecting, that's going to be up to 8 mana total. You can shore up, you can play Lear, and honestly, Julian's probably going to play Lear pre-combat. And then what are you going to do with that Wandering Emperor? There's shore ups in the graveyard.
Yeah.
This deck looks awesome.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we might have a meta breaker on our hands here if Julian Wellman can keep this up. Rafine swinging in here, looking for more action, not able to find anything really of substance, as we're just going to see these two critters bounce off each other. Shore up, still in hand there, not having to use it just yet.
Yeah, and if anyone's going to be breaking it here, it's probably going to be the Julian Wellman, the MIT grad student. A really smart human being.
Fable the Mirror Breaker number 2 firing off. Are we going to discard anything at this point? There is a Rending Flame, a Shore Up, and a Lear in hand, so not wanting to discard anything at the moment. But does Julian want to make copies of either the Djinn or the Illuminator?
Yeah, that's a tough one here. And yeah, Rending Flame, an excellent card here. Being able to deal 5 to something, only costs 2 with the Djinns, you know, helping out here. And actually, yeah, if you Reflection the Djinn, this is going to cost 1 mana.
Oh, yes.
I mean, the synergies are all kind of rolling into my head here right now. This seems super cool.
Who doesn't love a good discount? It's a bargain, Corey.
It is a bargain.
But I think Tristan is not happy about this, so he is going to say, see ya, and get rid of it. Well, at least attempt to, but unfortunately for Tristan, there is a shore up, and that is going to be another copy of the Djinn, the Rending Flame, cheap as chips, can get rid of this Rafine, pay for the ward, and start swinging. Man, this deck is sweet.
This deck is really sweet. I'm jaw-dropped right now. We can't see my face, but I am just overly impressed with this deck. And there we go, another Cemetery Illuminator dealing with another graveyard option here.
Oh my goodness.
Getting rid of Tenacious Underdog.
Oh man, all right, so one flyer down. There is a Wandering Emperor. Ooh, Phyrexian Missionary. What can we grab in the graveyard?
Yeah.
But Denix says no.
Yeah, that is kind of the problem with some of these Esper decks. Dennick is a universal situation here, where you see in Tristan's graveyard there in the top left corner of your screen, that little seal right there. And yeah, that means no touchy.
No touchy. All you got's a 2/3 life linker and Wandering Emperor. So good luck. Thumbs up kind of thing, you know?
Admittedly, it is doing some good work against Lear as well, you know, but
sure.
Yep, like what do you do here? You got to deal with the Djinn?
Yeah. But deal with the Djinn isn't. Oh, I gotta get the life gain is good.
You have to attack with Dennick.
But just to Illuminator? No.
Yeah, we're gonna gain a little bit more life as well. So going up to 7. But yeah, I mean, so this is a game. This is not just over next turn.
It's not over. It's looking kind of dire here for Tristan. Let's kick Fable the Mirror Breaker, Chapter 3, another creature on the board, and Lear, who's currently just a chunky 3/4, excuse me. And that's going to be it. Tristan Wylde-LaRue cannot overcome Julian Wellman's Izzet tempo deck.
Yeah.